Jose Aldo versus Merab Dvalishvili takes place this weekend in the feature fight of UFC 278, Usman versus Edwards 2, and I can't wait for this bantamweight matchup. Two top contenders in the bantamweight division, and I guess you can call it a title elimination bout. However, they haven't done so in the build-up of this matchup, because if Merab Dvalishvili wins, I feel as though he's not going to get a title shot, because there's other guys in the division that maybe could get it above him. However, if Jose Aldo wins, I do believe he's going to be getting a title shot in the bantamweight division. The only way I could possibly see him not getting a title shot is if Sean O'Malley flatline KOs Petr Yan in round 1 with a wheel kick and they give him a title shot. But even in that random circumstance that I don't believe is going to happen, because I believe Petr Yan's going to beat Sean O'Malley, even Sean O'Malley said he's going to take his time, develop his skills even more, because he's young if he does get past Petr Yan. And he said he's going to give Jose Aldo, the legend, a title shot. And that just goes to show how much respect these fighters have for Jose Aldo. He's done it for so long. He's making another run at bantamweight towards that title shot. And he's also beaten Marlon Vera, who's another guy in the running right now. So I guess you could do the winner of O'Malley versus Yan versus Marlon Vera and then give Aldo the title shot if he wins. But do I believe that Aldo's going to win? I do. I do believe that Aldo's going to win. I feel like it's going to happen. I really do. I think Aldo's good enough and big enough and strong enough to keep Merab Dvalishvili off of him. And I think he's good enough on the feet to make something happen and hurt Merab Dvalishvili, but not go crazy like Marlon Moraes did. Instead, take his time, be nice and patient, find a couple of good body shots, find a couple of good knees to the body in the clinch as well, because people really underestimate the grappling skills of Jose Aldo. I know some people are going to be going with Merab Dvalishvili here, but to put Jose Aldo as an underdog here, like, Merab Dvalishvili is good, and sure, eventually, after being wobbled all over the place in round 1, he found a bit of a comeback against Marlon Moraes all the way back in September of 2021. It's almost been a year since that date, by the way, so he's going to be a little bit inactive, plus he took a lot of damage in that fight as well. Sure, he beat Cody Stamann with a bit of great grappling here and there, and, you know, he won that fight by decision, and he did a little bit more damage and a couple of more significant strikes here and there in that fight, and got by a guy like Cody Stamann. But there's a difference with Jose Aldo in terms of the grappling defense. Marlon Moraes has got great grappling defense for 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And he immediately gasses out, and he has no gas tank left, and he hurt Merab, went for the finish, completely gassed himself out, and was just nothing for the rest of that fight other than a heavy bag for Merab to drill ground and pound on pretty much. But when you look at other opponents like John Dodson, who has good takedown defense, he did not let Merab hold him down for a second. Merab got 2 takedowns, and he won that fight by barely outstriking John Dodson on the feet. And I'm thinking to myself, if Aldo stuffs these takedowns like a John Dodson could, who's quite small for the division and very strong for the division, but he's very short and compact, so he can be harder to sort of like get a good grip of and sort of get a good center of gravity on if he's a bit shorter. It's like trying to take down DC. It's just a little bit more of a problem. So I understand that, but if Jose Aldo is the one left on the feet with Merab after Merab can't take him down, it's problems, man. Jose Aldo's been a lot more urgent recently. I don't think him not throwing as many leg kicks is going to be a problem here, because if he does, it's going to lead to a lot of takedown attempts from Merab. I feel as though Aldo can get back up the same way Stamann got back up, the same way Moraes got back up early, the same way John Dodson got back up every single time, the way Gustavo Lopez kept getting back up, but also kept getting taken back down as well, but he's not big enough or strong enough to separate the grip and do work in the clinch like I believe Aldo's going to be able to. Kenny kept getting back up, but Merab kept taking him back down. That was 12 takedowns there, but it speaks to the control time that he can't quite keep on these guys. And I feel as though Aldo's going to be able to get this one done. He's big, he's strong, he's got reach advantage over Merab Dvalishvili as well. Just a little bit of reach, 2 inches of reach advantage over Merab. It's going to give him all the favors though in this matchup on the feet. And I feel as though that 90% takedown defense rate against all of the guys that Aldo has fought in his career, you've got to remember that in the Edgars, the Mendezes, at featherweight this is, not at bantamweight, and Merab is even talking about going down to flyweight. He's not a massive guy for the bantamweight division. When you look back at some of the guys that Aldo's been defending takedowns against, to have a 90% ratio, you know what I'm saying, with people trying to get him down, It's just like Font tried to get him down, and that failed, and Aldo reversed it and ended up on top. You know what I'm saying? But he still scored an official takedown on him. And then you got Piotr Jan eventually was able to in the fourth by tripping him and sweeping his leg after Aldo started to gas under the pressure of Jan. And that was a brutal round there that we got to consider the damage that Aldo has taken. But I feel like he's been on such good form recently. I just don't see it going badly for him. Of course, Marlon Moraes threw him over himself with like a hip toss and used Aldo's momentum against him. But again, I don't see Aldo being too aggressive here against Merab Dvalishvili. So I see Merab having to really shoot for his shots. I don't think he's going to be able to use Aldo's momentum. I don't think Aldo's going to be giving too much momentum towards him. I think he's going to be very defensive, very patient. But you look at the takedown defense this guy's had throughout his entire career. In the early rounds especially. This 90% takedown defense rate, if you limited that to the first 3 rounds of fights that he's had, it might even be 100% or 98, 99%. Maybe one guy's got him down. He's very, very good. And I feel like he's going to give problems to Merab in those takedown situations. I think he's going to stuff him, get back in the clinch, knee Merab to the body, punch Merab in the clinch, elbow Merab in the clinch, use all of those tools. He's a very big guy. He's got a big head. That's going to be good in the clinch for him. So use that head pressure and head positioning. I like Merab. I think he's got a great style. I just don't think he's got it in the bank to really hurt Aldo on the feet or make Aldo worry on the feet. Of course, Marlon Moraes is a very chinny guy himself, so I think that's also why he couldn't be too effective on the feet, because he's also got to worry about being KO'd. I don't think Aldo's worried about being KO'd. I think he's just thinking about, okay, let me do my thing on the feet. If he shoots, I'm okay. I'm Jose Aldo. I'll get back up. I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm explosive, I've got great takedown defense, and also Aldo's been a lot more engaging in the ground game a bit more in terms of his jiu-jitsu. And I think that's a big factor coming into this fight as well. If you remember against Marlon Vera, he took the back for the whole of the 3rd round. Vera shot in on him in the clinch. Aldo reversed it and seized an opportunity to take the back. He would never do that before in his career. But since he's been at bantamweight, he's started to implement this a lot more in his career. Takes the back of Marlon Vera in the 3rd round and keeps the back for the entire round to make sure he wins that fight. Even against Pedro Munoz, he had some moments. I don't think he did any grappling there, but he had some moments on the feet. He looked great on the feet. He looked renewed. And then you've got guys like Rob Font. He took him down in the 5th round and took his back and had moments on top of him in round 3 or 2 and something like that. So I feel like Aldo's been a bit more willing to engage in the grappling situations of fights, and I think that's going to benefit him here. And I think he's going to be able to do enough on the feet with body shots, knees to the body, maybe a couple of teeps and stuff like that to make sure that Merab doesn't really utilize his energy effectively. And I can see Merab starting to slow down after the 1st round, starting to get hit in the body quite a bit, starting to leave himself open in the clinch, and I can see Aldo blasting a knee to the body in the clinch in the 2nd round. Maybe he gets taken down, ends up with his back to Merab, front on against the cage, separates the hands, gets back in the clinch, big knee from Aldo, big body shot from Aldo. Merab tries clinching up again, hurt to the body, big knee from Aldo, tie clinches their head, big knee, uppercut, left hook. Merab shoots a bad takedown, Aldo sprawls it, more big shots. He starts to get on top of Merab, lands some good shots there, and then Merab works back up, another big knee to the body from Aldo. I just think he's going to be too explosive, and we're going to see like a bit of a Renato Moicano-esque finish from Jose Aldo, but in the 2nd round rather than the 1st. But that was in the 2nd round as well, so I think he's going to do it with body work, finish Merab against a cage, and I'm really looking forward to this matchup though, because Aldo is a legend of the sport. I've tried to take that out of my prediction, but I've been doing good with Aldo predictions, man. I picked him to beat Munoz, picked him to beat Vera, picked him to beat Rob Font. I don't know if I picked him to beat Vera, though. I might not have done. But I picked him to win his 2 recent matchups. I believe in Aldo at bantamweight. He's big, he's strong, he's got a great chin. I think he gets it done. Plus, he's been hurting people a lot more now as well, and I think that's a factor here, because Merab doesn't seem to have the best of chins. So, he's got good recovery. But Aldo's more patient than Marlon Moraes, just swinging like crazy against the cage looking for a finish. So I think he'll find the right shots, especially to the body, a little bit easier in this matchup. But then again, if Aldo wins this one, we're off to the races. I think if Merab wins, he said he's going to go down to the flyweight division, which is interesting because maybe if Dillashaw beats Aljo, then Merab will be like, okay, Aljo's probably about to retire. I don't know if he's going to get a title shot anytime soon, so I'll stick around and try and beat TJ Dillashaw, which is a tough matchup for him as well. But I think if Aljo beats Dillashaw in October, I think Merab's going to say, you know what? I can get a title elimination bout in the flyweight division. I'll see what happens in Askarov versus Royval. I'll ask if I can take on the winner. They'll probably give me the winner because I'm a bigger name than any of the guys at flyweight anyway. So I think they might do that. Maybe it'll end up being Merab versus Askarov for a title shot at flyweight some point down the line. But if Aldo wins, him versus Aldo is a great matchup for him. Him versus Dillashaw is tough because Dillashaw mixes it up so well. But Aldo's got pop in his shots, so I could see him hurting Dillashaw. I could really see him hurting Dillashaw. It's just, are they going to do that matchup in Brazil? Because you've got to have Aldo on that Brazil card. They haven't been to Brazil since, I think Brazil was like the last card they did before the world went into a massive shutdown, of course. It was Kevin Lee versus Charles Oliveira a long time ago. And it had no crowd. Last minute, no crowd. It was supposed to have a crowd, and then all of a sudden they're in a big arena and there's no crowd whatsoever. So, weird circumstances. But there was supposed to be a crowd, and they haven't been to Brazil since then. So, this is their first trip back. You got to come back with a King of Rio. So, maybe for the purpose of getting Aldo in Brazil, it'll be better if Merab wins. I think it's better if Merab wins for the sport. Of course, it'd be good to see Aldo get a title shot, though, so maybe that'll be better for the sport, but man, if Aldo gets the belt at bantamweight, you've got to put him in your top 5 GOATs. Top 3, mate. Top 3. But in terms of clean GOATs, I don't think Aldo's had any roid problems in his career. You can assume all you want, but it's not definite like John Jones. So, Aldo might be way higher up there in a clean, natty, as in no hardcore evidence against them being natty, list of GOATs. He might be top 3. So, you got to put him in the mix. Amazing from Aldo to do this at his old age. But I feel like he's going to get the job done over Merab. I really do. He's going to be big once the weight comes back on him. And I think he'll finish Merab in the second round. I like his chances against Aldo. I like his chances against Dillashaw. I don't know who I don't like his chance. Maybe Sandhagen will give him problems. Maybe if O'Malley proves how good he is against Yan, he'll give him problems as well. Obviously, if Yan wins, he'll likely give Aldo problems again. Probably going to be the more improved guy out of the two of them. But, yeah. We'll see how this one goes. Hopefully, Aldo can make it to Brazil. But if he loses, is Cruz going to be ready for then, though? Maybe. It is like over 5 months away from now. Maybe he will be ready for then. But I want to see Aldo versus Cruz in Brazil. I wanted to see it for a title elimination bout, but they fed them both to the up-and-comers. So maybe one of these old-timers will get it done against the up-and-comers. I'm betting on Aldo, second round TKO. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye. Cheerio.